has dissolved with no environmental concerns for persistence, bioaccumulation or toxic breakdown. Because the foam has no persistence in nature, it makes it the best environmental solution available within firefighting foam technology. The foam technology has the ability to flow rapidly and freely across the surface of a flammable liquid fire, effectively extinguishing hydrocarbon and polar liquid fuels. It has a rapid knockdown effect, which causes the flames to lose contact with the burning fire, preventing reignition. In addition to a rapid knockdown effect, the foam moves in all directions whilst also sticking to vertical surfaces. Requires no special discharge devices and is designed for use with fresh sea or brackish water. All discharge devices such as non-aspirating and aspirating, including standard sprinkler heads, can be used to obtain maximum results. The rehealing foam can be applied to a wide range of industries with industry-leading experts, worldwide experience, global reach, and over 200 years of combined in-the-field fire protection experience. Solberg continuously pioneer firefighting foam technologies to meet the latest demands in all industries.
the distinct benefits that we have as Alert is the fact that we are probably one of the original organizations globally that started using rehealing foam in actual live fires, both in large-scale tank fires, process facility fires, spill fires, vapor suppression incidents. And with that process, we've been able to provide the confidence that our customers are looking for as we evolve from the older technologies now with newer technologies, and proving that, in fact, these new technologies do deliver both the performance, sustainability in terms of what we're doing in and around the fire incident itself. What's one of the real unique characteristics with the new rehealing foams is the fact that we still have a high performance foam concentrate and still being able to achieve the high success rate that we have in extinguishing fires, suppressing vapors on a long-term basis, and providing maximum protection for our firefighters. For us, it's about putting the fire out. We are a private industry contracted by customers to be ready to mobilize at a moment's notice globally to respond to tank fires, terminal facility fires, storage tank fires, ship fires, and in doing so to be able to provide maximum capability to extinguishing the event and providing protection throughout the salvage operations and recovery on the facility of the asset. All through that process, the one critical component for us is to ensure maximum personnel safety. And this product delivers that.
What's being listed now are some of the big jobs that Gallar went to, and those are really big fires globally. At the end are some pictures of those fires that were extinguished. Any questions? I know it might be a little bit overwhelming in one day, but you know, these are all facts that we are given. And you know, I think we as responsible people, if you take a look, we don't want to pass this on to future generations, do we? And the scary part is that when you see what's happening to children, that the vaccinations don't work anymore.
I think that's something that should raise a red flag somewhere. I have a product manager that worked for 3M for 20 years. 3 years ago, he got thyroid cancer, and he has very high levels of PFCs in his body. So these are facts. Any questions? Yes.
Is using new technology? Is it just the foam, or is it the pigment also you are changing?
No.
What are you changing? What are you using instead?
What we are doing is that we are screening chemicals, and the main ingredient that was used before, of course, that was PFCs. Now, the new ingredient I take home to my wife, and she bakes with it. It's a complex sugar base. It's in our patent. And when I started importing it from Australia, the first container that came to our site, the police came, the custom people came, because they thought we went into competition with a Norwegian Vinmonopol. They thought we were going to start making liquor. Now, what we are trying to do is that for the color coding, we are trying to stay in the yellow sector with all chemicals. I think we have 3 chemicals that are still in a red sector, but the intention is to replace them, because that's an agreement we have with Statoil. But it's a long-term process, because we have to screen it, Statoil screens it, and now we have to do all the fire testing. Now, the fire testing that you saw from Statoil, they were so good that Statoil told us, don't you ever touch that formulation, because it's the best we've ever seen. So, we try to strive to get into the yellow sector, and we have done that. If I tell you that on a 1% we have something like 24 different ingredients, only 3, and it's less than 1% of the concentrate, that is in a red sector now. But like Statoil told us, get us out of the black sector, because that's what's persistent.
Okay.
Yes.
How do we, is there a way to turn back to how do we not only reduce the production of these toxic chemicals, but how can we diminish the amount of these toxic chemicals that are already in the oceans and everywhere?
You don't get rid of what we have today, but we have to discontinue using those products. And to give you an example, if you go to a store, let's say you want some rain repellent for clothing. I know that there are companies that are making stuff without PFCs, without fluorosurfactants today. Now, in a firefighting foam, it's the same thing. Do not use the firefighting foam with a PFC. That's the recommendation, and I know for a fact that the EU will come up with a regulatory, and they will say, this is the way it's going to be. Because when I went to the EU Commission, they started out the meeting with saying, the limits that we have set on PFOA, non-negotiable. And I could see the whole industry was sitting there, wow, we thought we were going to be able to negotiate to get a much higher level. But the EU Commission said it's non-negotiable. Because it is a big problem worldwide. So we have to start now. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I just wonder, how it's going to be put into practice, because it's being used all over the world. It's not only the EU, it's everywhere, and it has a half-life of 10,000 years or more. I mean, it's almost like a hopeless case.
Well, it's not a hopeless case, but, you know, somewhere we have to start. And they see that, you know, once you stop, it will diminish, yes, but we cannot continue as we have been. Because I could also see in the textile industry during the EU period, when they started asking the textile industry, some said, no, we can't live without any PFCs. It's the same thing in foam. The foam manufacturers, they will tell you, oh no, we can't because it's costing us too much. Hey, you got to start somewhere. When we started in the year 2000, I used 35 million krones in 10 years in just R&D. And the big chemical companies, they are not being fined. 3M, when they pulled out in year 2000, in 2011, they got fined $111 million just for polluting their rivers running through in Minneapolis, in St. Paul.
Were they made to clean it up?
Yes, but that was the cleanup cost, it's not included. So that was just for polluting. Now, you saw DuPont, and I sent some to Christian. I sent the whole story about DuPont, and you can read about that. And, you know, when you read about it, your hair stands up on your neck, on the back, because it's very sad what you read. But then you get the backbone of the big chemical companies, what they actually do. It will take you something like 45 minutes to read that out. It's from Huffington Post. But I think, you know, everybody here, they should read that article. And when I was in Australia last, about 3 weeks ago, there was a Air Force base down there. And they have polluted in the area because they've been training with the foam and so on. 600 houses are now contaminated. And the government has to buy those houses from the people that live there. And all the groundwater is contaminated. The fisheries outside in the area in Australia, they cannot fish. Just think about that, you know, if you take a look at the North Sea, the Barents Sea, and for us, well, it's part of our livelihood. Just think about the first fish that they fish and they start testing it full of PFCs. What's going to do with our fisheries? It would be devastating for Norway because it's a big business, fisheries, beside oil. And this is something that those big oil and gas companies, they realize, and they told me, I was talking to the administration of one of the biggest oil companies in the world. And what they told me that, okay, we have enough money, we can do a cleanup. But what we cannot pay for is the human health. And now it's coming right up to the top. The board of directors in some of the big oil companies, and they say, hey, we can't live with this anymore. We have to stop this. So human health today is being on the top.
Yeah, I was thinking about, do you agree with earlier that we also need to change the way we fight fire, in addition to change the chemicals that we use fighting fire?
Yes, you know, Bo has a very good point because, you know, foam, number one, remember the picture I showed that after 48 days, this new technology is gone. But, you know, just realize that that kind of foam is using oxygen in order to disappear. And that's by nature itself. But of course, you know, if you use it in a confined area where you have fish and so on, the fish is probably going to die in that area. Same thing if you have a bunch of milk that you spill in the same area. The nature is going to use oxygen in order to get rid of it, and you're going to still kill the fish. you are talking about, you know, a very high concentration of an ingredient that, yes, it will kill some of the fish if you have fish in the area because of oxygen is being used in order to get rid of it. But like with AFFF, stick along, probably forever. So it is, yes, when you take a look at this, it is a worldwide problem. But it's not being addressed. And Norway and Germany are the two countries that are really spearheading this together with Australia. And I see there are a lot of firemen here. Now, Australia, the biggest fire brigade in the world in New South Wales, they got 82,000 employees. They went fluoride-free a couple of years ago. Queensland, which they have something like 2,000 fire trucks, they went fluoride-free in the year 2007. So in Australia, most of the fire brigades down there, probably 95% of them, they've gone fluoride-free. They don't want to use it anymore, the old technology. And they are out in a very fragile sort of nature because they have all the big bushfires and so on. And if they use any kind of foam with a PFC, then you might get dragged right into jail. It's actually a jail sentence if you do something like that. If you cannot collect all the firewater with the PFCs, then it's a criminal case. Yes?
Some decades ago, everybody thought PFCs was a good thing. How can you assure us that you will not be having a similar conference about the new stuff?
Well, we give you a guarantee. We give you a 20-year guarantee that you will not have it. Now, remember, I said that we are being also scrutinized by the oil companies, and we have an agreement with Statoil. For Statoil, I've said that this is so important for us in order to be in the oil and gas business that we have to know. So when we screen the products and we deliver them to Statoil, they screen them. But both of us, we got a big surprise when we started testing this, because we found out that under the REACH regulation, it's not covered. If 20% or less of the chemical is, let's say, a fluoropolymer, you don't have to put it into the safety data sheet. You don't know what you're getting. But we will guarantee that you don't have it. Now, there was also, like Bo said, when you change